Hey guys, it's Robert Jean here in Croatia, still split, and behind me is part of an old Roman ruins that people actually still live here in Croatia. And so, I've been doing a lot of study here lately about different types of emotional manipulations that were used on children as well as adults who use it on other people. And those of you who would like to figure out how to get more control in your life, below this video you'll discover that there are some links that can help you. One of them is You Can Change Yourself, a level 1 training course showing you how your mind works and showing you how to rewrite your story and how to get personal control from the inside out. But to go on back to some of the emotional manipulations that are used by people who are actually hurt, and they would use what we call re-scripting, or actually a new spin on an event. And usually they will put a new spin on an event when they have acted poorly or badly, or they're going to re-script a story in which will make you look bad in the limelight. So they're going to give you a bad spin. And basically they'll tell the story about an event in which you were there, or about some other event, and you are the victim of it, or they are bashing you in some way. And oftentimes, I've experienced it as well, where someone tells a story of an event in which I was there, and the event and the story, or the spin of the story, is something totally different than what actually happened. And unfortunately, these individuals will actually create so much emotions and rehearse the story over and over again in their head, and they're going to tell you exactly what you did and how it made them feel, even though you were there and I said it didn't happen that way. They're still going to operate with passion, with strong emotions to put a bad spin on the situation, and they're wanting you to believe this new spin that they have given it. And if they keep telling you enough, the child or the adult will have a tendency to say, well, was that really true? And then, of course, if they keep telling the story over and over again, we'll have a tendency to create a value system from that. And that's what happens with a lot of times with children. Or we talk about adults now, but when they were children, their parents would tell them a story about their birth, or about something that happened, and then they tell it enough that it actually becomes a form of hypnosis, hypnotizing the child to believe that something that happened may not even happen, but it was the parents' distortion. Now, relationships do this too. Now, if you have healthy individuals who have no trauma, no abuses in their life, and they've had healthy emotional family, that may not happen so much. But you have to understand that people do this to not only to protect themselves, but also to harm you, or to get you on board and to allow you to trust them, or let them be the boss of the situation. And of course, a part of you, you feel like you're probably been attacked, or you feel like that it's a false story, and it is a false story. But then again, you start questioning yourself because they tell it with strong emotions, strong feelings. And then you start thinking, well, maybe it did happen, but I don't remember that. And that oftentimes will happen, especially if you're one of those people who are kind-hearted and trusting, and definitely want to support your partner or support your family. And of course, your parents will rave on and on about an event that happened, that you were there and it didn't happen, but it's from their own mental distortions. And this happens a lot, especially growing up as a child, or especially when you're in a relationship with someone who has emotional issues, who had a rough childhood, or have had emotional traumas, and they play a story in their head. They play it over and over again. They believe it to be true. And of course, this is a survival skill for these individuals who are hurt, and they're doing what they're supposed to do based on where they come from and based on their fears and hurts. So if you experience something like this, one of the most important things is to take ownership, to say, okay, I know what's true. My value comes from me, and I realize that this is your opinion. This is how you see it, but it didn't really happen that way. And of course, they want to tell the story again. And now remember that you can't fix somebody else. You can influence them, you can offer help, but the most important thing is to tap on you to own your own stuff and address your own personal issues. And as you do that, it's going to give you real power and value. Remember that there are people who are hurt, and you don't have to play the game with them. You can understand their game, but the most important thing for you is to love yourself, honor yourself, and protect yourself. Now, of course, if you're in a relationship with someone, you got children, or you're in a position where you can't do anything with where you are, you just have to learn to tap on you, keep working on you, and stay in a neutral place when this event happens, and share your story, share your point of view, and to say, hey, listen, this is your point of view. It is not my truth. It didn't happen that way. I understand that's how you see it, but it's not true. And again, you know, some people are going to stick to a truth even if it hangs themselves. So just learn how to love yourself, like yourself, take full ownership of yourself. And of course, understanding that there are people who are emotional manipulators, and they're based on their own hurts and re-scripting the story, retelling the story in a way that they want you to believe their story, not the real story, your story. And just realize, own your own. Remember, your value comes from you, and like yourself, love yourself, be kind to yourself. So anyway, this is Robert Jean here in the great country of Croatia. So anyway, talk to you later. Peace.